It's the Cold Beer Surf Club.
Yeah, all right, let's do it.
Cheers, dude. Thanks so much for coming.
Happy to be here, Connor.
It's been a minute. Mm-hmm. Like I haven't gotten to hang with you in a second.
You're in baby world, dude.
Yeah, I know.
And that's good. That's I've been there.
It's so fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
Heck yeah, Keith.
So how old is he going to be, the little man?
11 months. Or sorry, he's turning 1. Like
you said, like he's turning first birthday.
Yeah, June 13th.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I know. It's crazy how fast it goes.
Yes.
I'm tripping. I know
You've seen Millie?
Yeah.
She's like
so gnarly.
She's like as tall as her mom, pretty much.
Did you say she's 14?
She just turned 14.
She's already that tall?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. She just shot up.
She gonna keep going?
I don't know. That's a great question. I see her being 5'10", maybe.
Yeah.
I think Lauren's like 5'8", 5'9". So she's having fun. She's great. She's fun. She's like goes everywhere with me and still stoked on dad. And she's not like full teenager yet. Yeah. Which I don't know if she'll end up what she'll do. But anyways, she's great. We've been having fun together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you been traveling a lot, or have you mostly been getting to spend a lot of time at home? Yeah.
Let's see. What have I been doing?
I feel like every time I look on the internet, I'm like, oh my God, Keith's in Vegas with Bingham, and then you're over here with shoot. I'm like, dude, you're getting after it these days.
Yeah, I've been running around. It's funny. I went to Australia this winter and worked on a project with Stephanie Gilmore, and then we've been home, and then I've been running around. Like 2 weeks ago, I was up in Paso hunting pigs for a few days up there, and then we actually went to the Sphere and saw the Dead.
Oh man,
yeah, and that was like something I would never pick to go on, but it was our friend's birthday.
Sick.
And so it was kind of like epic, totally out of my box type of thing that we had really fun with it. It was Lauren and I once in a while get away from the kiddos, and that was one of those weekends, and so that was super fun. That was like 2 weeks ago.
Sick. How was that show? I heard it's insane.
I mean, when that whole thing starts in the Sphere and it is like, I was blown away on how they do the whole thing, and it feels like you're in a helicopter looking down on planet Earth and all this crazy stuff, and overall it's like, it's something you've never seen before, and the way they do the whole deal is pretty mind-blowing, I would say. So
damn.
Yeah, it was cool.
That sounds cool. And then Bingham played out there too, right?
Yep. Actually, you know what? Bingham went with me, and we went and saw Post Malone.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, because we kind of had the backstage setup with our good friend Kathy. Got us like the crazy backstage deal, and we were hanging with Post Malone, and
sick.
And it was so rad. He had his rope and dummy set up, and we were roping behind his
way.
Yeah,
classic.
Which was, so we went to that too, and that was, if both of those things are things I never usually ever do. Yeah, but they both came up in kind of the same month, and it was fun. Nice. Super fun. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, really just chasing the kids and working on film projects, and we have our little cattle lease, so we always do that on the side. We have like 40 mother cows we're raising for local beef, and you kind of know that already, but so that keeps us busy if there's ever a spare moment. And just feel like I'm on a snowball rolling down the hill.
I know, it flies by.
Yeah, for sure.
So crazy.
But all good.
What, and film-wise, what have you been working on lately?
Yeah, so we're I don't know, I guess doesn't matter what I talk about, but in the middle of editing a Stephanie Gilmore YETI film.
Sick.
And it's really, I mean, Stephanie's kind of the generation behind me, so I never was on tour with her or ran into her much. And then like a couple years ago, we both are ambassadors for YETI, so we went up to Alaska and hung with her. And I was just like, such a cool chick. I'm just like, she's just got her shit together, and she's kind of off tour now. But we kind of went back into her whole backstory, and kind of, I'm really excited about the piece. And I don't know, it's hard to get into the details, but really fun working with her, and feel like we're in the middle of edit on a really cool film with with Stephanie. So that should be really cool.
Sick.
And then what else have we got going right now? Well, we're just releasing the Tom Lowe film this next month. And,
nice.
And that one's been done for a little while.
Okay.
But Tom's a legend.
Yeah, he's so sick.
He's one of my favorite humans.
Animal.
Yes. And so that's a really neat one. We went over to Ireland to see him and England. And of course we get to go back into the archives and just get all the crazy big wave stuff that he's done in his day. And so that's coming out, I think, within the month. And then just a couple weeks ago, with the Shane Ackerman piece. Do you know anything about him yet?
Not
Shane
really,
Ackerman?
No.
So he's an Aussie, and he like does construction and saves his money, and then goes to Chopu and goes to ship sterns and just
sick.
Like if you like ask Nathan Florence or any of the guys that have ever surfed with him, he's the craziest fucker out here. Like he'll turn and go on anything. And so we ended up doing a full little film on him. And awesome waterman, spear fisherman, and then just like works construction and then gets a cheap flight. And then, everyone else has their entourage with jet skis and everything. And he just kicks out there on his boogie board and just sends it. So kind of a fun, different style story, I would say, something different and really neat guy and very unique fella, not like just different than the rest. So it's kind of fun doing films on people like that, I think.
Heck yeah. Are those like the Tom Lowe and the one on Shane, are those projects that you guys are just doing yourselves, or are those? No,
they're actually all YETI stuff.
Oh, those are all YETI films. Cool.
Yeah. So we did 2 years of Life of Kai and then finished that up like about 6 months ago, and then falling right back into doing the YETI stuff, which is awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is the Life of Kai going to keep going? Are you guys going to do more?
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure what the plan is. But for now it's on hold, and that maybe they're working on a film. I'm not sure. But yeah, we had like an awesome 2 year. I mean, how many episodes we do? I don't know, like 10 episodes in over 2 years.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
10? That's a lot.
Yeah, it was cool. Maybe something like that.
Dude, how crazy is Kai?
He's rad, man. I really loved hanging with Kai, and it's like, so a lot of the big wave surfers are so macho and like too cool. And for him, he's just a stoked, giggly, fun dude that, just sends it beyond. And yeah, we had a blast working with him. He was great. Have you hung out with him much?
I've known him forever. Since I've met him when I was like 14, probably.
Yeah.
Through one of my dad's friends in town, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Ingalls. Yeah. Okay. Introduced us when we were super young. And that, like, he didn't even really surf at that point. Mm-hmm. He mostly was doing kiteboarding and windsurfing.
Windsurfing, yeah.
And I think I'm sure he surfed, but he wasn't like surfing like he got into it. Mm-hmm. And then it was just all of a sudden he just started.
Yeah, dude, Martin, his dad was a windsurfer from Ventura.
From Ventura, no way.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know.
And so like all the old school Ventura guys, I knew him from back in the day. I hope I'm getting the story right. But then at some point, they moved over to Maui. I'm not sure if it was before Kai was born or I don't know. But like Martin, Kai's dad, Ventura sailboarder, eventually made it over to Maui, and then the whole thing started with Kai, and that he kind of got after it and all those, like you said. I mean, he's been surfing since he's a grom, but as a youngster, he was known for kind of excelling in the windsurf area, right? Mm-hmm. So, anyways, continue to make his way. And I just remember, for me personally, when I saw him paddle into bombs at Jaws, that's when I was like, okay, this guy is straight up badass. You know what I mean? He's not. I saw him paddle, tow some, of course, and do a lot of, I think, surfing with straps and doing flips, and it was all cool. But when I saw him paddle into a huge Jaws wave, I was like, okay, this guy's fucking top notch gnarler. You know what I mean? And that's when I was kind of like stoked to be like, yeah, let's do this. Red Bull kind of hit us up to see if we were interested in doing it, and then I was like, yeah, Kai's a little legend. Let's fucking go. This is great. Yeah.
Did you see him surf Jaws before you?
Oh yeah.
Before you guys did Life of Kai?
Oh yeah. Yeah. He'd been kind of going big out there for at least 5 years before that I'd seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when he got on the map for me, 5-10 years ago when I started seeing him paddle into really big waves of Jaws. I was like super impressed. Yeah.
Did you see it in person or just on the internet?
No, we had Jaws days for sure. And saw him paddle into some bombs. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, we were on the biggest days. Like we didn't, timing just wasn't. And actually those last 2 years, like had some big killer days, but I think Kai was injured for part of it when he hit his head. Mm-hmm. And, I don't think we were on there like on the biggest days, but there was some buttery days, Yeah.
Were you guys pretty much like going and shooting all of it too? Or were you more like back end, like gathering footage from all people and then putting it together, or some of both? So definitely both. And then, so with what we do, we definitely like work on the story a lot of, we spend like a full week with the subject, do all the interviews. In Kai's case, it was like a week per episode. And then, we do a ton of the backstory and interviews, and then we shoot surf usually, or whatever discipline the person does, we shoot that too. But then a lot of times we go back and license like the hero shots from, years prior, stuff like that. So we're kind of crafting the story using fresh footage, but also finding, the heroic gems, especially with the big wave stuff. Those days only come once in a while. So that's like part of our little formula for making these films. Yeah. I've never been to Jaws, but I want to go check it out one day.
Yeah. At one point you had been talking to Kai about doing a little mission or something.
I still want to.
You should. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to get him over here too.
Yeah, for sure.
I got to bug him again. I was kind of in his ear for a little bit.
Yeah. It was when we were working on stuff. He's like, Connor called me. He wants to do something.
Dude, I do.
Because it was right around the time when we were working on, mind surfing with you.
Yeah, I think it was a little. Dude, that's already been like.
I know, time's flying.
4 years?
Mm-hmm.
How crazy is that?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think you started doing Life of Kai pretty shortly after we kind of wrapped that up.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
That does sound right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that you were doing it when we did that.
Because I was like, in my mind, I'd be like, oh, that'd be rad to get Kai and Connor together, and whatever it may be, you guys would get up to something.
So fun. I want him to drag me out to Jaws.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, honestly, like, I don't know. Have you towed like a really big day yet?
No. Well, no, not really. No, not really.
I mean, it is cheating, dude. It's like, it's easy. It's like, yeah, you can get beat down and drown, but like, you can also not fall on one wave and get huge barrels or pocket rides or whatever, like if there was a pumping day up at Mavericks and he's like, let's go, I would be like, go, dude, you'll be laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And of course, it's not everybody should do that. It's like, if you're not at the level where you should be doing it, you shouldn't be doing it, but obviously you are. And it's like, you would get a lot of amazing waves. But anyways, I think all of us, I don't know, personally, seeing people paddle big waves is top notch for me. It's like, towing's great, whatever, but like if someone paddles into a bomb deep, like Billy Kemper at Jaws, like those ones that he paddles into.
It's like paddling a 6-footer at backdoor.
Yeah,
like I would be stoked on. He's like,
yeah, I mean, and I do think it's like Peʻahi, Jaws, that wave is like the best big paddling wave in the world. Like guys are backdooring 30-foot faces and getting spit out,
So crazy.
Yeah.
Have you ever paddled out there?
So, so I think I've only towed into that wave. Actually, Laird towed me in out there a couple times on pretty big days, not huge days, and I think that's the only time I've never paddled it, Nope.
Towing is cool because I like, especially some of the Kai and some of these guys now are like ripping the big waves, and that always looks fun to me. It's like when you're on a big wave on a small board,
yes,
and you could turn. Yeah, it's
like
cool. But yeah, I mean the
Kai and Lucas Chumbo, dude.
Yeah,
they like are like rah, and then like flipping in the air and
totally the turns look fun.
Yes, I mean you can't have more fun.
No,
than towing
I guess
towing into
like,
bombs. Yeah,
we do as a surfer. You sort of are like,
well, you wait till the right day where it's not really paddleable or something. And anyways, I'm a dinosaur. I'm not really doing that stuff anymore. I mean, but the right days, it's like, or like if you're in some outer reef in the middle of nowhere, no one's around, and you want to just, like we used to go down to Mexico and do that and just pull in to 100 barrels, in a day. Just like, it's kind of too good to be true.
Totally.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to me, like that you, Chris, and Dan are all like, have your fingers in film. I mean, you and Chris more so. Like, I know Dan's done some pretty rad projects too. Mm-hmm. But it's just crazy to me that you guys all ended up segueing into that from your surf careers.
Yeah, I think part of it is just going like, okay, well, Chris led the way doing films, obviously. And it's funny today, even like he still runs around, he's filming everything. And so he just had that natural interest in film. And then, as you know, being a pro surfer, you're around film crews so much and you become friends with the full film crew. And next thing you know, you're like, hey, you should shoot it from over here. And this angle's sick. Like you learn so much being a part of it, even if you're in front of the camera. So that just was like, a little cheat on learning how the whole production works, and then kind of seeing Chris do it and helping him. And then, for me, it was that first body surf film I did where I was like, kind of went on my own to do a film. And it was interesting because it was like body surfing at the time was like, no one wasn't really hardly even known, body womping a little bit. And so we kind of just went for it with the body surf film, and man, we just had it all came together so well, and people loved it. So I'm like, oh, maybe I can do this, And it's like, what are you going to do after your pro surf career? It's just kind of hustling to see what you can do to make a living and be if you got a shot at doing something creative, it's pretty awesome. So, the beauty of it too is like, I mean, it's not always like this, but sometimes it is. Like, I get to go hang with Tom Lowe. I do a shoot with him. Now we're just like buds. And like most of the time we're hanging with these like pretty incredible people that I end up having like lifelong friendships with, Chris had the knack for it and the eye for it. And I realized just being around it all and being part of Chris's films and everything, like, I had some true interest myself in film as well, So, trying to pay the bills, but still have a good time.
And it's kind of a way that keeps you like in the world, in the realm that of all the passions and things that you love. Like, I think that's super cool. Is most of the people you're making films on, like you said, you kind of half the time you're friends with them, but they also all have like shared passions and
for sure
things that you get to go do with them that are
and like we've done some hunting films and all sorts of different kind of stuff, and like I also just like the personal interest story side of it. No matter what the person might be doing, like I feel like our little niche in the like we do basically documentary style films, and finding those unique personalities to me is super just interesting, and something that like I want to know personally this story. And it's kind of neat because I get to spend time with these people and through interviews pick their brain and figure out what they're all about, So it's pretty fun.
See what makes them tick.
Yeah. So I want some backstory on you. So no, all good stuff. So but your dad was always a surfer.
Yeah.
So he got you guys into surfing.
Well,
but Baffa also.
Yeah.
Because we're tight buds with your uncle Baffa.
He always feels like a cousin.
I know. I'm like, is he a cousin or uncle? Yeah.
Well, because he's 9 years. So Jason's my mom's youngest sibling.
Yes.
They're 9 years apart.
Okay.
So he's almost like in between me and my parents, but Jason's like pretty young spirit.
Totally. Now that we're all growing up, it's like we're all in the same crew.
Totally.
But yeah. So Uncle Baffa.
So my dad started surfing a little in college. Yeah. And then Jason at that point was because he was with my mom and him were dating.
Okay.
Still in college, I think. But he had gotten to know Jason at that point. So they were buddies, and they would like hang out separate of my mom.
Right. Like, let's go surf.
Yeah. Like Jason would be like, take me surfing. He'd be like, okay. Yeah. And so then Jason got super into surfing, and then whatever years later, when we were on a family trip, I was 4, and Jason and my dad were surfing. And they're like, "Come on!"
Nice.
So my dad pushed me, and Jason caught me.
Yes, I mean, I think I've seen some of that footage,
seen the footage,
or some grom footage of you. Obviously, that was pretty legendary.
So yeah, that was Uncle Baffa's. I mean, I don't.
So you think he had a little influence in getting you guys, even your dad, into it?
For sure.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Jason had when we were young, because Jason lived down in LA, but he would come up and stay with us on the weekends.
Yes.
We lived in this barn over here that my dad fixed up. And Jason would always be crashing on the couch when there was a good swell, or coming up to and then, as it progressed, at one point he was filming for Single Fin Yellow and One California Day. Yes. And he used to make the big Baffa skateboards.
Yes.
And he always had us on those and would film us ripping down the street on them and stuff. So yeah, Jason had a huge influence on me surfing, and
and his movies are awesome. Single Fin Yellow was huge, and One California Day, which was the one that me and the brothers got to be in, and he's a crusher. He's done some great film work. And then, so at what point were you guys like? Was it just from teeny? You were just like, we love this. This is what we want to do, type of thing.
I mean, I loved surfing from when I was 4. Yeah. The first time I was like, whoa, okay. I was super into it. And then we came back home from Hawaii, and I was bugging my dad to take me surfing before kindergarten.
Yeah.
So I kind of had the bug straight from the get-go. Parker was so skinny, he got too cold. I mean, he was 2.
Yeah.
So it took him a little bit longer, but by the time he was 6 or 7, he'd gotten on too. And then it was just full speed. But I didn't really think about being a pro surfer until way later.
Right.
I just loved to surf. And then I think maybe around 10 or something, I was kind of 9 or 10. Parker started doing more contests.
Yes.
And he's like, dude, you got to do these contests with me. And I don't know. Why would I go surf Huntington when I could stay home and surf Rincon?
That's classic.
And then finally he got me to one. And I think I did shitty, but I was like, oh. Yeah. That was kind of frustrating, but cool.
Yeah.
And kind of be fun to be a pro surfer and not have to do a real job.
Yeah.
Until then, I just wanted to be a builder.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
With my dad. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I think I've told you this story, but I just remember walking up the point at Rincon, and you and Parker were on the beach. You'd been surfing all morning. And Baffa must have introduced me to you guys, because we met once maybe. And you guys were just, oh, what's up? And you're all, we'll share our burrito with you.
No way.
Yeah, I just remember it perfectly. Look, got extra half a burrito. Do you want it? And it was pretty classic because you guys were small, and you guys were both getting barreled at the river mouth. And I remember Parker pig dogging one, and I was like, whoa, these guys are charging.
Classic.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that was my first kind of real memory of you guys. I'm pretty sure we must have met once briefly or something, because you guys are like, what's up, Keith? You know what I mean?
Well, growing up here, if you surfed at that point, it would be pretty weird to not know who you and your brothers were. We were definitely pretty privy. I mean,
well, I guess if you're a surf grom, we
were. I still are, but we're always so fired up on you guys, and I felt like you guys were pretty I don't know. I feel like our surf scene's a little bit like that. That's kind of misto, but then if there's a good day at Rincon or something, kind of everyone comes out of the woodworks a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're probably so fired up to see you surfing, because you always hear about everyone. You see a little glimpse. And back then we didn't have the phones.
Yeah.
So to get to see someone that you look up to in real life run up the beach at Rincon, you're just frothing.
No, I remember the first time I saw Chris Brown surfing Rincon, and I was just because he was a little older than me, and he was just, he was I was just starstruck. And then I see Tom Curren at Sandspit one day, and I was with my dad and my brothers, and we watched him surf Sandspit, and it was he was wearing the turquoise orange rip curl suit, and just he was at his prime. He was surfing so good. And then we went over to Channel Island Surf Shop, and we were little. We hadn't started riding for Channel Islands yet or anything. I think I must have been 10 years old. And but we went, we watched Sandspit for a long time. We were a little too young to surf it, and then we walked over to CI Surf Shop, and then Tom walks in, to give a board back, or who knows, talk to Terry Merrick or whatever. And my dad's all, come over and meet him. He's in here. Let's talk to him. And I was all, no. And I ran away. Like, I was so mind boggled. I'm like, no way I'm going to talk to him. I was like too shy and too nervous. And I like ran down State Street because my dad was like, no, I'm bringing you over here to meet Tom Curren.
That's so classic.
Yeah. And then crazy, jumped to like 15 years later and I'm surfing against him. I actually had a ton of heats with Tom.
Really?
And the reason why is because he was going to try to requalify kind of on the QS or whatever. So all these heats were in the QS. But like, and then I was like, you know, I was just qualifying for my first time. But it was really weird how it was like in each round, the highest rated guy would be in the first heat. So then it would go the next round and like all of a sudden, like, you know, for my round, I was highest rated and he was starting from the trial. So he was highest rated. And then like, dude, I must have had like 10 heats with Tom over the years.
Gnarly.
And he was like my complete hero. Yeah.
That's so sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you get him in some?
I did, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I got him a few times. He got me. I think it was like, I think it might have been kind of even, but he definitely got me a couple times when it like counted. I was like, damn, I really needed to make that heat. But always, I mean, it was pretty weird surfing with, like as a kid, I would run down the street away from him because I was so nervous to even be in his presence.
Dude, that's
and then all
crazy.
of a sudden you're like thrown in a heat with him at, you know, I was probably 25 and he was, you know, I'm not sure, 10 years older or something.
Okay.
I mean,
so would that was that like the year, that wasn't when he did like the trials to title, or was it?
No, that was
after?
before that.
Before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was like a later comeback.
Later comeback.
Yeah. Cause I think he won the world title twice. And then like he would go off tour completely and then he'd come back and do it through the trials. But the years, I know like at Steamer's Lane and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was like 5 years before I surfed against him. Yeah.
Because it all kind of worked. I don't know all my surf history quite well enough, and obviously it keeps changing. But it all was so different then. That's kind of I never really understood how it all, like the QS and the CT and it all worked.
Yeah.
That's so sick. You got to surf against him a bunch though.
Yeah.
I think I got a couple of Rincon Classic heats with Tom.
Did you? Yeah. 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 Cause back in the day there would be like top rated event and you could just enter from the trials, right?
Wow.
I think so. Like back when like Sean Thompson was winning titles and, you know, whoever else.
They just kind of opened it up.
You could show up and you'd enter round one or whatever.
It's pretty sick.
That's kind of awesome.
I know. I kind of like that because if you're, I want to go, I could go surf the J-Bay event.
Yeah.
It's like
some sleeper dude
heats.
just comes out and starts beating the, you know, like some random local could like end up winning the event. I don't know how many times that happened, but kind of neat to have like an underdog just be able to climb the ladder like that.
I think Sean Holmes down there waxed some of the boys pretty hard. I don't know if he ever won it, but I think he got second. Year.
I think you're right.
Definitely like beat Andy a couple of years, I think, in like world title. I think those guys would draw and just be like, fuck. I gotta take out Holmesy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Pretty nuts.
I mean, you have such an advantage of your home court, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, every little detail of the reef and where to sit and what wave not to go, what wave to go on. But yeah.
Sometimes I almost feel like too much home court advantage almost like makes me overthink surfing heats in a weird way.
Yes. Maybe.
Like waiting for some wave that you think.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, this one that's going to do that and this. And so just being like, oh, wave, go.
I hear you. You could overanalyze it if it's your home spot. So what do you think you got you so into fishing? Because I've fished with you quite a bit and you're a hammer. And like today I was out on the boat and I was basically like, I wish Connor was out here. We'd be catching fish today.
Dude, I wish I was too. Especially from where I was.
I know.
I got super into fishing when I was, super young. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, my grandpa. So Jason, my mom's. We would always just sit on the beach and fish.
Yeah.
Like for forever. I think he'd make a cocktail usually and take us fishing. We'd sit there and just talk. You know. And, when we were on that same trip that I learned how to surf, there was like this little rock pond.
Yep.
And we would go down with bobbers and like cut shrimp and just catch like little reef fish. And we'd just let them go.
Yes.
And so that same trip, I was like, we'd fish and surf. And that was just like what we did every day.
Yeah.
And then here I used to have like a 3-prong and I'd go shoot like perch and stuff at Miramar.
Yeah.
Try to eat them.
Yeah.
And then I always like, oh, I want to catch a halibut or this, that. And then I had a really
So you always just had a little interest in it.
Yeah, I was always into it. Cause you know how it is here.
Yeah.
Like we would surf in the wintertime, but then in the summertime, my mom would take us down to Miramar and it'd be flat.
Yeah. You have to find something to do with yourself.
Totally. We'd skimboard. We'd freaking boogie board. We'd body surf, like whatever we could do.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, I would always try to go out with the 3-prong and dive or fish off the longboard.
Yeah.
I remember I finally caught a halibut like off the longboard on a sabiki or something. And it like jumped, I got it up. I was like, oh, and it freaking launched off.
Oh my gosh.
No. And then one of my best friends growing up, this kid, Timmy Smith, who's he was one of the funniest kids ever. He was super into fishing. So we'd like go to Goleta Pier and Santa Barbara Pier. And then his family had a house in Alaska.
Okay.
And 2 summers in a row, my dad and I went up and fished with his brother was a guide and like went salmon fishing. And so I don't know, I was just kind of into it always from pretty young.
Yeah.
But then when I got super into surfing, I kind of canned the fishing thing for like
a decade.
Yeah, like pretty much. I was going to say 10 years. It might have been, probably 10 years. And then my buddy Sean, who you've met, Shawnee B.
Yeah.
He showed up one day down here. He's like, hey, I'm like where he lived. He's like, dude, I just caught some fish. Like cruise by, we're going to have like a couple beers and cut these white sea bass I just caught. And my brother and I rolled down. And he freaking opened this kill bag and he had like a monsters. I was like, oh my God, that's a huge fish. He's like, dude, that's the small one. He had this like 65 pounder hiding in the bottom. And I was like, wow, where'd you catch these? Like, I didn't even know we had this around here. Yeah. And he was like, oh yeah. And I was like, okay. And so he really kind of got me back into fishing. Yeah. That was probably like about 10 years ago now. Yeah. And we had the little skiff and little beach launch missions. Yeah. So that was kind of when I got back in it. But I just love just anytime being on the water. Yes. And around here, I think, like I said, the flatness sort of leads to needing more hobbies.
For sure.
And I couldn't dive for a bunch of years because my sinuses were all fucked up.
Yes. So that's for me, like, I like fishing, but I'm way more into spearfishing, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, for me, it's like, it's kind of like back in the day when you would surf and you would just forget about everything. Like when I go spearfishing now, that's like kind of my little zone where I'm like, I'm in the moment. And it's like you said, there's nice fish around here. But then and it's like pole fishing, which you're good at both, but like,
I'm terrible at diving. Terrible.
How are you? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm so bad.
But I mean, the sinuses don't help anything either because I have ear issues and some years it like really fucks with me. But yeah, to just see you, like you got to put in the time to be a good fisherman, and you've clearly done that. And I've gone out with you a couple times and been like, damn, dude, there's fucking blood on the deck. This is badass.
So I like just getting your own food though.
Me too.
I think it's like when you can go catch a fresh fish, or like I haven't gotten into the hunting yet, but when people are like, oh, I got elk, or actually Matt took us to get some of the access deer on Maui. Yes, that was a classic story.
Oh my god! I didn't even
shoot one.
No way.
But we ended up with a bunch of deer.
Yes.
And but just the fact that you can like eat, like you know where your food came from, and you freaking cook it up, and you're not like, oh, what was this thing fed? Yeah. It's just straight from the source. I love that about it too.
I do too, and I have to say like I like the catch and release thing is awesome and great, and like obviously fresh water, that's a lot of the time how it goes down, but like I'm like, dude, I want to get something, bring it home and throw it on the barbecue. Like I get off on that a little bit. That's like what hooks me. That's a big part of it. Sounds like you too,
Yeah. Well, I think just the quality, I think, is what blows my mind. Yeah. Like when you actually go catch the fish and you take really good care of it. Yes. And I'm the same. Like if it's not something I'm going to eat, like I'm not going to kill it. Like no way. It's always something. And I try to, like, if I catch more than I need for me and my family, I'm like trying to share it with friends and family who are going to appreciate it.
I agree.
But just like that, the way that you can take care of something and the quality that you get out of it. Yes. I think is amazing. Yeah. And just game changing compared to what you can go buy at the store. If you have the opportunity to do it, I'm like, and then trading with people is super fun. Yeah. It's like, oh, you got freaking grass-fed beef. Yeah. Like, here you go. Here's a couple slabs of halibut.
It's such a good deal. I love it too.
Your brother gave me a freaking one day. I took him and Cooper fishing. Yeah. We caught a bunch of fish, and he like brought a like the vac sealed chunk of beef. He's like, I don't know what this is, but like, here you go.
Classic. Nice.
And I got home and I like freaking one day I was like, I'm going to cook that piece that Chris gave me.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like this beef tenderloin.
Oh, no way.
It was like this big. And I was like,
way.
oh my God, he gave me this huge beef tenderloin. He was like, I think it might be kind of tough.
Oh yeah.
Dude, the thing was like butter. I could like cut it with a spoon.
Nice.
It was so good.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the grass-fed beef thing, it's like, I don't know. That's all we live on and we love it. It's great. For me, like having cattle, you can feed it out with organic grain, but that's a lot of time and a lot of effort. And I don't quite have all that time. So it's about like letting them graze at the right time of year and butchering them at the right time of year. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. And I love doing the same thing, trading for whatever it might be. What did I just trade for? Well, pork sausage is funny because I have pork as well, and we have domestic pigs and wild pigs, but my buddy had this insane batch of pork sausage that he did with his seasoning, his flavors, and we did a little trade, and or for whatever it might be, you know. But it's really fun having a full freezer.
Yeah, I know. And you just boom, like whatever.
Yeah.
Especially when are your kids all into eat?
Oh yeah,
like they'll eat whatever.
They love it. Yeah, like last week I came up with all those pig back straps, and it was just like, pew, pew, pew. They're just mowing it down
mental.
like treats, you know.
So sick.
It is good.
What are the kids getting into these days? Are they sort of gravitating towards your passions too?
Yeah. They, you know, my oldest Millie's like, they all surf and have fun, but I'm not pushing it, you know, like just, I think that's, you know, and it's like, yeah, I think maybe for some kids, if they really want to compete and stuff, they have to like really kind of get after it at an early age these days. But I haven't really done that with my kids. We're just having fun with it, and they all dig that, and they all surf and have fun. And then actually my my wife played soccer in college, and so she's been coaching my two daughters' teams, and so they're super into soccer, which is funny because I never played soccer, but I think it's great for them. You know, it's like they're 4 days a week practicing and then playing games on the weekends, and they're just like, you know, it's good for their little bodies to stay active like that. And then Millie loves hunting, my oldest. Actually, they all do. Like if I go on a hunt and I can bring them, they're just like, it's their favorite thing. So that's pretty cool. You know, we have them playing a little music, which is nice. And Millie plays the guitar. Junie has the ukulele. And we kind of try to do that at night if we can. We don't always
jam sessions.
Yeah, we don't always keep up, but we're getting after it. And then I don't know, just normal kid stuff, I guess. June, my middle daughter, loves baking, and every day she'll cook something from scratch.
No way.
And I'm not lying. Like I'm not trying to be like my daughter's cool. She cooks from scratch, you know. But like she actually does, which is like me and my wife are like not bakers. We're like, where does she get this from? She'll make brownies. Anyways, it's kind of cool, fun little thing. And then Clay's 5, so he's just a little animal. He's into everything and anything, and you know, going and searching for lizards, and really fun, cute age though, for sure.
So epic.
Yeah, you're gonna enjoy that.
Oh, dude, I know. So fun. Like,
yeah.
I can't even imagine when I'm like, oh yeah, Archie's like, let's go do this. I'll be so stoked.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now it's at the point, like when you first have kids, you're like, oh, this is so tough and gnarly. But now it's like, if they're like, we're going to our friend's house for the weekend, I'm like, you are? I thought we were all going to hang out. Because we have our own little party. You guys have to go to your friend's house? Okay. But no, it's good.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Are you, I don't know if this is super allowed to be in public. Are you still working on the film with Bobby?
No. Okay. So we started working on a possible film. Okay. But nothing's happened yet.
Okay. So that's still it's still a maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So we'd love to. I've been hanging with Bobby, and he's been doing some really great stuff, taking, you know, underprivileged kids surfing, and I'd kind of been working with Me Water, which is another group in San Francisco that does that a lot. One of my good buddies, Eddie Donlin, runs the Me Water organization. And like, so it's really neat because at one point Bobby reached out to Eddie and had been taking kids kind of from the 805 area actually surfing. So, I mean, I'd always been in touch with Bobby a little bit, but then we kind of reconnected through that. And yeah, there's a possibility of a film out there, but we're not sure what's going on. But everyone wants to see it if it were to.
I know.
Yeah.
I hope that comes to fruition.
Yeah, it would be really cool.
Got to pin him down.
Totally. I mean, yeah, there's just a lot of formalities and details to figure out. I think Bobby's would be. I mean, for Bobby, he just wants to like shine a positive light on the next generation of kids, and maybe the ones that haven't had all the opportunities. You know. So I think that's the main reason he'd be interested in doing a film, you know. But
sick.
Yeah, it's
still to kind of through his story, sort of bring some light to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually give some inspiration to some young kids that may not think they, you know, need to fall in love with something and find an avenue that might be healthy and good for them.
Totally. I know it's such.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't really think. I mean, even me, I know bits and pieces, but like I doubt that there's too many people in the surf world or the world that know Bobby's story. Then I feel like it could be one that's like so inspirational to so many kids.
For sure. I hope it
people
happens.
In general.
Yeah.
I know, me too. He's such a good dude.
Yeah.
And this week, which will be probably not this week whenever people see this, but you're showing the film you made with Kimmy, right?
Yes.
In SB.
Fish People.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at Blue Water Hunter right here in Santa Barbara. When will this podcast come out? Well, it'd probably be after this.
It might be just after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
next Friday, right?
Yeah,
you guys are showing that?
This coming Friday, yeah.
Cool. We're gonna try to come.
Yes, it should be pretty cool. They have it like I guess right in that little alley there, right at Blue Water Hunter. They've been doing some films there, and anyways, sounds like a blast. And we haven't shown Fish People in a while, and Kimmy flew out. She's actually probably landing at the airport right now. Jethro's picking her up.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, she's going to hang for a few days.
I've been trying to I want to get her on here.
I know. Oh, on here?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
On the podcast.
Maybe there's time.
I know. I should maybe bug her.
Yeah.
I just saw that like yesterday. I was like, no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is sort of serendipitous that you were coming and doing this. I was like, maybe Keith and Kimmy could come together.
Oh man, we're like 3 hours away from that happening, but she's flying in, so she's probably tired, but
yeah.
So that should be really fun. Coming up shortly here in a couple days. Actually, we're going to try to take her out and get some fish too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, that's what she said.
So we'll see
how I was like, if I had a couple more weeks, I'd take you.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd go on my boat.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah. She hasn't got a white sea bass yet.
I know.
Can you believe that?
Like, yes and no.
I know.
But she's so good that I think she would just find one somewhere even when there wouldn't be one around.
We'll cross our fingers and see what happens.
When did you start diving?
I mean, I snorkeled and dove as a youngster, and like my dad had a boat and would take us out to the islands. And earliest memories really. But then, I don't know, me and Chris, when we moved to Hawaii, Chris got kind of into it, and it's always been there, something that I'd done. And it's funny because later in life is when I've even gotten more into it and had a little more time to do it, but we've done it as youngsters, and we're able to, we're lucky. We're able to spearfish as kids and stuff like that. But I have had ear problems in my life. So like I've had to kind of watch it. And there was like periods of time where I was surfing a ton, and when I'd go dive, my ears would just blow up and bother me. So like, but in the end, I'm kind of stoked because now I found my ears are doing pretty good, and I've just been enjoying it a lot, and all good.
Sick.
Yeah.
Did your pops get you guys into surfing?
He did. He was a surfer, believe it or not. He was such like a rednecky dude and a construction guy, but he grew up in Topanga Canyon in the 60s. And, at the end of the canyon there was a wave, and his buddy surfed. Like, no one else in my dad's family surfed. But, like, he couldn't help it. He, some kids he probably went to school with when they were, like, 10, 12 years old. My dad ended up at the beach, and he said the first time he paddled out a board, I think he said that the fin was in front. So he was going like this, and he was like, didn't know why, like he had no one to help him as a kid. But, he surfed. He surfed, as a youngster and through high school and all that, and was a great surfer. And he just would take us surfing on the weekends as kids. So that's definitely how we got hooked on it. Was our dad would take us down and take us surfing.
Sick. And you guys were living in Ojai at that point?
Yeah, we were living in Ojai. And so, we would just go on weekends. Like, you know, you would think like to become a pretty good surfer, you'd need to be like living by the beach, but it almost made us want it more because it wasn't right there for us. So we were like so excited to go to the beach on the weekends. But also like we were a little later behind, like, you know, like I think like Kelly Slater and Shane Dorian and Ross Williams were at like the U.S. championships at the river mouth, and we were like surfing Emmawood and didn't even know that was going on because we hadn't really started doing contests yet. You know what I mean? Like, I think we started, I mean, I started in contests when I was like 13 or 14, and Chris was like 15, and like, yeah, a lot of guys had been like fully competing for years already, you know what I mean? So we were kind of late to that game. And I even had like a single fin when I think for my 13th birthday, I got a single fin. Yeah. Natural progressive, channel bottom, like 6'2" swallowtail.
No way.
Like, I wish I had that board now.
That'd be a wall hanger for sure.
Totally.
Wow, that's crazy.
So it was kind of funny. We were a little bit hillbilly kids behind the curve at an early age for the whole surf thing. You know, we were like, yeah. I remember we showed up to the first Channel Islands team workout. We could surf okay, but for some reason, Al and the guy's name was Scott Thomas was running the team, and I'm like, somehow they let us in, and I was like, I don't think we surf good enough, but like my dad was just like, have good manners, do what they say, be first one to help. And I think that's how we got on the team as kids, because we were like riding funky single fins and weird boards and somehow made the team. So
that's good advice.
Yeah.
Damn. I didn't know that your guy's dad was a surfer, actually. I never knew that.
Did you get to hang with him much?
I just met him a couple of times, like sort of. I never had like a great like long hang, just kind of brief.
Yeah, he was a character. You would never think he was a surfer. You know, he just didn't look like, I mean, back in the day, I'm sure he did, but he just have his, you know, I don't know. He looked like just a redneck dude that never surfed, but he did. He was a great surfer. That's rad.
Did he surf like later into his life, or?
He surfed until I was probably, I think he surfed a little into like when I was probably 17, 18, he kind of shoulders started bothering him, and I was bummed. I wish he would have just kept going. It would have been healthier for him to keep surfing. But yeah, I think I remember distinctly one time we went surfing and his shoulders were killing him, and he ended up having some surgeries and thinking it was going to get better, but never really recovered enough to where he could do it all the time, you know what I mean? Dang. But he was one of those guys too that definitely was like, if he wasn't surfing good, he wasn't going to do it, you know? He had too much pride. So that didn't help him as far as longevity. Definitely not.
Did you and Chris and Dan kind of all get into surfing together, or is there one of you that was sort of leading the pack?
It was all kind of together. Although like Dan was like a few years younger, so Chris and I were closer. But yeah, I think we kind of like, you know, Dan might have just been a couple years behind us just because he was a few years younger. But we all full on early on, which is kind of weird. The older I get, the more I realize, well, I mean, you got your brother, obviously you guys are alike, but to have three of us alike, that like I've had friends go like, you guys are friends and you all like doing the same things, and they're like, I'm opposites of my siblings, you know?
For sure.
So it's kind of freaky
for us. Trip.
Yeah, it's kind of neat that we all completely love surfing and for the most part got along and like, you know, do a lot of the same things. And it's like, yeah, as far as Chris goes, like I'll see him. I haven't seen him in a couple weeks, whatever. We'll show up somewhere and I'm wearing the exact same clothes as the guy. And I'm like, dude, you should have fucking called me and told me that you were, you know, I'm like, what? How? Like we're in ways too much alike.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Classic.
It's embarrassing. Yeah.
And Dan's waiting for his second kid, right?
Yeah. Dan's got a little one coming any day now.
Sick.
Yes.
Right on.
Yes. So are you going to be able to catch up next winter on some sessions?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, now that you don't have a newborn.
That's the plan. The Archie part's been pretty mellow. Like Sierra holds it down so hard.
Oh, that's right.
It's more just been the boat projects that have really eaten the time.
Yes. Yeah, if it's not one thing.
It's kind of like when I'm down there. I'm freaking down there so much that when I'm not there, I'm like, I'm just, like, I got to hang with them and then let her have some time to go do a few things. And it's been sort of weird.
You had a couple good days at Rincon and stuff, though.
Yeah. I got some surf. But,
And did you end up getting any good waves in Ventura or anything? You guys just got back from Australia, though, huh?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was super fun.
Nice.
Yeah, we had a really good time.
We were on the Goldie?
Goldie, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we had some fun waves there, like cruise with Joel and JS and stuff. And then we went to Tavi on the way back.
Oh, that's right. How was that?
And saw Dylan and his family and stayed with them. And awesome. It was amazing, but the waves were, like, for there, not good.
Got it.
I still got a couple of surfs and then super fun with Archie. And then he got sick, though, like twice.
Oh, no.
So it was kind of...
That's not fun.
No, it was a little...
Yeah.
It was kind of rough.
Did he have, like, stomach thing or like a...
He got hand, foot, and mouth.
Oh, yeah.
And then he started getting better, and then he got a stomach thing.
Oh, shit.
And we got home, and he was sick for, like, 10 days. Just freaking blowing
stressful.
Out, dude.
That's stressful.
Yeah, no sleep. I felt like we didn't sleep for, like, a month.
Yeah, that's stressful.
Because he was just feeling so shitty, and then the time and the travel and all that.
Yeah.
So just the last 2-3 nights, we got some good sleep. I'm like,
just got back
feel
on
like a new
schedule.
Human. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
But it's so fun traveling with him, but it's definitely it's a little tricky. If they don't feel good, it stinks. And they just on the plane and he's just licking everything.
Yeah.
I mean he's not, but like just everything's
oh my gosh. Wait till he's a toddler and he is licking the floor of the airplane.
Fiji a couple of times I just would look over and he'd just be like, on the floor. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Well, it's like
really?
Yeah. And then you get to the point where you have 3 and you're like, okay, guaranteed one is gonna be sick at all times. Like that's just part of the program. And then it's just like it just
blows through the family.
The worst part is if you're kind of worried and you're kind of stressed, then it's just like, oh man, this isn't fun. But anyways, they're tough. They survive. But I know what you mean. That's not fun.
But no, I didn't surf it, dude. This winter too, though, I was getting this weird thing like in the water. I was getting these crazy sinus infections when I surfed. Like I don't know. There's been a ton of red tide the last few weeks, but it seemed like all winter there was like this lingering red tide thing down here. Like it wasn't as bad up north, but down here I was like getting blown out.
So have you had the sinus surgeries or anything like that?
I did a balloon, this like kind of non-invasive like balloon one that like opened it all up.
Yeah.
Dude, it freaking changed my life.
Did it?
But I could dive after that and like was getting sick way less.
Whoa.
But I don't know if I need to at some point do the gnarlier one.
Yeah.
But I'm just super allergic to like whatever that shit was that was in the water, like with the red tide.
I mean, it was nasty. Yeah, red tide. All the seals and everything are washing up on the beach and dolphins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. At least
I'm a seal.
Yeah. What's that?
I'm related to the seals.
Yeah. I mean, I had a seal go after me. Yeah. I was like, eventually just got out of the water because it just wouldn't leave me alone.
No way.
Yeah.
Just chasing you around the lineup?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It was kind of, I've never really had that, right here on the stretch coast. Like, and I was just like, wow, this thing's not going to leave me alone. I was done surfing luckily, but it was in the water right when I paddled out and it kind of got close and was being weird. And then it disappeared for like an hour. And then all of a sudden it was just like, because I'd been reading the reports of people getting bit and stuff. So I was just like, I'm done. I'm out of here.
No way.
Doesn't sound fun to get bit by a seal.
Out, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Just kind of go crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Acid.
Yeah.
It's weird. It seems like we're having more and more of that. I don't know. I've talked to like a few people.
Yeah. Well, I've hardly ever seen it up north of here. And it's been a little bit like that up there. So, and it used to be like that in Ventura pretty often, but it feels like it's like more and more going north. But I don't know.
Something's funky.
Yeah. I mean, it has to do with runoff, I guess. Someone told me, right?
Totally. That's what I was just going to say. And I guess like those Florida red tides that are like have gotten so much worse.
Yeah.
It's because someone from Costa was telling me that they support this like foundation that's trying to help with that. Yeah. And I guess there they have like all the orange groves. All the orange groves are inland by the, there's like a waterway.
Okay.
Somewhere there. And they like close it off, I guess, to like the ocean at times.
Okay.
And then all the crap, all the freaking pesticides and glyphosate and shit
just get
from that goes into the waterways, and then when they open it, just blasts out and just nukes everything.
It's crazy.
And that was someone here told me that they had a similar idea of like the Ventura River mouth there, everything coming out of there. It's like all that farming land up the valley and stuff. Yeah,
I got to do some research on that, because if you think about it, if it's pesticides, then is it killing the microorganisms as it hits the ocean, or is it making their bloom? Like it's just kind of a crazy phenomena, and it's getting, like you said, more and more, it seems like.
I know. It's no bueno.
Crazy.
I feel like it's got to kind of throw our whole ecosystem for a loop.
Yeah.
Probably on like acidity level and.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably so crazy, because like right here in carp, they're trying to do a fishing closure, you know?
Yep.
And they said it's for the kelp.
Yeah.
And
that one's for great white breeding grounds, I read.
Yeah, I mean,
and kelp.
But I'm like, think about all the orchards and farms and weed grows and all that stuff's going into the ocean and carp. That's what's killing the kelp. Meanwhile, I don't know personally how bad the kelp forest is out there right now, but I mean, like, you know, trying to pinpoint like fishing as the thing that's messing with the kelp is kind of strange to me, but
totally.
You know, there's areas where you do need closures. I'm not saying you don't need closures, but you also don't need to just like keep taking blocks up when you don't have to. And I would rather see them say, hey, this species being hit hard, let's change the rule book and you can only keep one or something, you know, rather than just like closing the entire beach.
For sure.
You know, guys,
I couldn't agree more. I
born
think
and raised here, and they want to take their kids fishing off the beach.
Such a bummer.
So you got to be smart about it, and there's times to make drastic measures, but like you also like there's other ways of dealing with it. And I think some of the blame they're putting on fishing has nothing to do with the kelp health on the carp reef right there.
Totally. Or fish. I mean, since I was a kid, like Sean told me, because that time I saw him with the sea bass, I was like, what the heck? And he's like, dude, it wasn't like this for years when they allowed the gill netting all the way to the coast, and those guys would just run the nets like way out and just wipe out everything.
Yes.
Like, I guess when we were kids, you couldn't even catch a legal white sea bass around here ever.
Wow.
It was like super rare.
Wow.
And now
it's better.
Like this year is insane.
Yes.
There's more fish than ever. So
yes,
they're doing like hatchery programs. It's like, and you know, halibut fishing's good. Like the rock cod. So it seems like we have one of the best managed fisheries. Anywhere in the world. I think
that's
probably
very true.
So
100%, which people don't realize that
it's on the up and up. And to then go like, oh, we're just going to keep closing it.
Yes.
Doesn't really make sense for the reasons.
No, I know
why a lot of it is. And like the great whites are definitely breeding.
Oh my, there's more than ever. There's more than ever. No, without a doubt. No, I was on a board. It was a film festival down in Laguna, and Ramon Navarro was there, and we were talking about environmental issues like that. And someone on the board said, hey, well, Chile has the best restrictions ever for the marine life and the fishing and everything like that. And Ramon was like, the rule books are there, but there's no one to enforce it.
No one to enforce it.
And he says it's like a free-for-all. So it actually, you know, if you read the headlines, you may think that some other country's doing a better job or some other area, but I think they've done a pretty amazing job in California with the fisheries, and they do make amendments when they need to. But I'm just a little bit against like a complete huge closure when the facts behind the reasons why they're doing it doesn't seem to add up.
Totally.
But anyways, we don't have to go off on an environmental rant.
If you spend enough time out there, I think you see things come in phases too in those spots in it. But I think that the kelp seems to be like it seems like a weird mixture of, it's got to be like a recipe that's like weekend and then the purple urchins and then swell and then like, just seems to have been a perfect storm for
mean, I think too, it does come and go sometimes, and maybe like we can't even explain why, but there's definitely times when it's thin and then all of a sudden it comes back stronger than ever, and like I think it's really hard to predict, and it's water temperatures, it's everything, but in general I think a lot of the kelp beds are doing pretty good at the moment. But
this year seems way better. I think we've had like cold water and but I mean, it makes sense when we have like some 20-foot northwest swell that just probably going to get beat up a little bit.
Yes. Get torn to shreds, without a doubt. Where's your brother?
He is...
How many times do you get asked that question?
Oh, all the time.
Because I'm the same. People say that to me. Where's your brother? What's your brother's doing?
That doesn't bother me. I can't even keep track sometimes.
Yeah, I bet.
But he's home right now. I just had to think about it for a second.
Yeah.
But he was in Indo for like a month and a half.
Oh, how was it?
Good. He went like full feral in some zone. I don't even know where he was, to be honest with you. But
crazy.
Got some fun waves by himself, I think.
Wow.
And now he's home and he's kind of cruising.
Yeah.
He's been traveling a ton the last couple of years.
He's
just like
on the road
trying to get after it while he's still, while we got the opportunities.
Yeah. Is he working on film parts, or is he like, what's he doing? Or just random, whoever, like, basically, I mean, I know back in the day, someone calls, hey, you want to go here? And it could be, back in the day it was for magazines.
I know.
Now it might be for whatever, but is there any projects he's working on?
The last Snap movie
nice.
is coming out. So he filmed a ton for it. He'll have a longer part than me because he filmed way more, but we both have parts in that. So
bitchin'.
We're working on that the last 2 years. And then what else has he been? He went to Japan for CI.
Oh, nice.
And for that Stab High contest thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
Isn't that just come out?
Yeah, he didn't surf. He was actually judging this one.
Oh, nice.
He surfed in a couple, and then he judged this one.
Nice.
And what else is he up to? I don't know. All kinds of stuff.
Just busy.
Yeah, he's busy.
Where does he live from here?
He lives in Santa Barbara, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes up.
Nice.
He lives kind of by Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Like over that way.
Yeah. It's funny. I've been to your place a few times, but I've never gone to his spot.
It's a great spot. But I'm hoping to get some hang time with him.
Yeah.
It's funny how like I'm sure you guys are kind of the same, even more so now that y'all have kids. But like, I bet when you were younger, were you guys kind of like that, or were you traveling more together?
No, it was like anything goes. It could be like all of a sudden we're on a trip together, but more often than not, we were just like totally different places, and then all of a sudden two of us, it was just completely roll the dice how it turned out, on each trip and each year. It was like, there would be times we didn't see each other for quite a while,
Yeah, Parker and I were on that program for the few years, especially it seemed like the last few years I did the tour.
Yeah.
Like we just would never see each other. It was crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Were you, because you, like Chris never really did too many contests, right?
Nope.
But then you and Dan both competed a lot.
Uh-huh.
And what years were you guys like more focused on the contests?
Yeah, so I think it was like, I was on, they used to call it the top 44. What do they call it now? I don't know. CT. Yeah.
That's what I still call it.
I still call it the
CT.
So that was like 2000. So then like the previous few years I was doing like the QS. And it was funny because when I started, I kind of stopped doing contests, just lived in Hawaii and I was doing travel trips. Like I was pulling off a little pro surf career without doing contests. And then I rode for Reef and they had some big events in South America and they're like, hey, we want you to go do the events. So I went down to do the events it was in Peru, Punta Rocas.
Oh, sick.
And so I hadn't been doing contests for a little while and I did that event and I freaking won it. It was a 6-star. So then all of a sudden I'm like leading the ratings to qualify.
No way.
And I'm like, sick, I'm going to do this. And then it was funny because I started the year great. And then I made like this. Yeah, I started great. I made the semis and then I won the 6-star. And then all of a sudden I did the whole year and I wasn't seated. So I did pretty good, but I just missed qualifying.
Because you couldn't get into some of the higher rated events?
Yes.
Oh, gnarly.
So I didn't qualify that year, but then it kind of got me, I was so close, and I did it again. And then I think I qualified like the third year. And then I actually was filming with Taylor Steele at Aukai. I did like an Air 360 kind of double grab roll and I landed and broke my foot. And I made it in the film because I landed it. I kind of made it, actually. Way. Yeah. And anyways,
which film would that have
been? Might have been Loose Change or something.
Okay.
It's on like a red board, I think. You could see me like, as I like landed it, I kind of stayed on my feet. The clip made it, but my foot was shot for like 4 months. So that was the year I qualified. I had broke my foot. So like, I think I missed the first event. I did the second one, but was like barely could surf. And then I just kind of, at that point, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this year. I'm not even going to worry about requalifying and just enjoy it. And that was kind of, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Yeah. And then I was like, it was funny. It was the year that Sonny won. And Luke Egan got second, I think. And like, yeah, I ended up those guys beat me up, but it was still fun.
Did you get back on after that year?
Nope. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah. It was kind of a short deal.
And then at that point you were able to segue into more just like film trips and
yeah, and then I was just
quote
like
unquote free surf career from there.
Yeah, and I kind of was doing that before anyways.
Yeah.
So that it just kind of came back to that, and which I was like excited to do. And like at that point I was kind of like, I want to go to the most out of the way places, down with 6 mil wetsuits and gloves and booties. And then I kind of started that whole cold water mission, and I did other stuff too. I went back to Indo and I went to Fiji, but I kind of had fun going to like the way far north and far south, you know?
For sure. Yeah. When I was growing up, it seemed like you guys were like some of the first kind of like pioneering that sort of cold water, like more adventure style surf trips to get off the beaten path and find good waves by yourself.
Yeah. It'd be so cool. You go up to Canada or Alaska and you'd be like, fishing was insane. There's bears on the beach. There's, you know, bald eagles flying over. There's whales, killer whales. By yourself, and the waves aren't perfect all the time. Like, I'm not saying you're going to go up there and score 10-second barrels, but like, I don't know. I loved everything about it, and the waves could get good. And then, yeah, I mean, Ireland, waves are actually insane in Ireland. Like those reefs that they surf now are just like, I mean, some just world-class big wave spots. And then, you know, Norway, the waves were pretty incredible there. I went to Russia, kind of got skunked, but it was still pretty amazing. But anyways, a lot of those locations, you know, it can be pretty amazing. And for me, it's all just about avoiding the crowds, you know.
For sure.
Going back to Indo now, dude, I was on one of the first boat trips down there. Like I went down there and it was the boat I was on, and it was it was filming SIK JOY with Jack McCoy, Luke Egan, Munga Berry, and Shane Dorian, and myself.
Way.
And it was like, this was like in 93 or something. I mean, it was way back. And so, yeah, the Indies, Martin Daly was the only other boat out there, and there was no other boats. It was us and Martin Daly, and that's it. And so
crazy.
That was pretty amazing trip to be able to be a part of. And we got macaronis like 6 to 8 feet. It was like too big, and people, I don't know. I've never seen people really surf at that size. But anyways, pretty epic to be able to be a part of that back in the day and go down. So now going to the Mentawais now, it's like just so different.
So different.
And I've been many times since then, but I would rather just find somewhere less crowded.
You were the September Sessions trip too. That looked like an insane trip.
Yeah. So I wasn't on that one.
Really?
No.
But you have waves in that?
That was Luke. I could probably name it. It was Luke,
Gurr, Slater,
Kelly. Wasn't Ross? Maybe.
Yeah, Ross is in it.
Shane
and Jack
and Kelly, and Rob.
Okay.
And Jack.
Dude.
Jack shot it.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I was in there. I got
weird.
a sick pic. Remember that? No, I wasn't.
There's like footage. I swear I can like see it in my head of you on like a red board that I always thought was like on that trip on the film. I haven't watched it in a while, but I watched that film a bunch when I was younger.
Okay. I shouldn't have told you I wasn't in it.
What's that footage? I can like see it in my head, like you're bored and you're doing. Maybe it's that other film.
Yeah.
I'm confusing the two.
Oh, the Jack McCoy SIK JOY
or something. Yeah.
A red board in Indo.
I feel like you had a red board, or maybe it's somewhere else.
I mean, I went with Jerry Lopez and Rob Machado and Kristen Dan. I was on probably a red board.
That's a sick trip.
Yeah.
When was that?
And that was the one that Laird invited us to go on.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. And we got the whole perfect. Ooh. I mean, it was like perfect. And then we actually got the meat locker, like.
Oh, no way.
Huge. And I actually, yeah, those guys were like towing into it. And then I towed into it too. It was that big.
The right or the
right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I got pulverized on the reef at some point, but
gnarly.
it was really, like Martin Daly's like, don't go out. And we're like, we got to whip into a few.
Crazy.
He's like, come in, guys. It's too nuts. Like, if you asked him about it, he would probably tell you it's the biggest.
For sure.
Maybe the biggest Indo ever.
Oh, wow.
Well, I don't want to say that, but like, you're really big.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Is there one trip in your whole lifetime of surf trips that sticks out? Or maybe not even a surf trip, but.
Well, yeah, I guess. So, I, probably one of the craziest trips I was ever, well, not crazy. I would say one of the neatest trips I went on was Tahiti, and I just I went to Tahiti, and I had I was flying somewhere, and maybe it was a contest when Tahiti was coming up, so I just went early and stayed with Romana, and it happened to be holiday weekend, and we all went out to this island. And no one really spoke English, and even back then, Romana didn't speak as good of English. And hung with these just epic Tahitian families for a few days, and they were all catching fish off the reef, throwing them right on the fire, and it was kind of neat just because I was in my own little world. No one really spoke English, and it was just fly on the wall, and then we ended up on that trip getting some amazing waves. But I've always really loved Tahiti. I thought, for me, the waves and the island and the water is the most beautiful place on the planet in my book. You know what I mean? Granted, Chopu and how mental that wave is. You know what I mean? So that's always been one of the craziest waves out there. And then, so another time I did me, Mark Healey, Mayan Goodwin, Hans Hagen, Teddy Grambeau, sailed from below the Philippines through eastern Indonesia all the way to Papua New Guinea.
No way.
It was a crazy trip.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That sounds so... I've always been looking at that area on the map going, whoa, there's got to be something going on over there.
There's Halmahera is part of the island chain. And anyways, it's very unstable, and there's civil wars and pirates, and say pirates just means someone's gonna come take your boat. That's what I mean.
Shit.
Yeah, take everything, leave you for dead. So for that trip, that was all real concerns, and we all flew into this little airport in Eastern Indo. I forget what it was called, but the captain of the boat was an Aussie guy, and he had an Indo crew because he was usually on the Mentawai side, and so he had his Indo crew, and the night before we were leaving, the crew was all being really kind of weird, and we're like, what's wrong? And I remember when the Indo guy's going, you could dead on this trip, they were worried, these guys, his English, you could dead. I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound good. So we get up in the morning to set sail and leave this little harbor, and two of the Indo guys just bailed on us. And really? So our cook and another deckhand just at the last minute boned out because they thought they were in trouble. And it turns out we were on the boat. I mean, all sorts of crazy stuff happened, but we were going down this island chain. And at one point, we'd go into the villagers and trade them some stuff and get some fresh fruit and vegetables. And it was awesome. But we pulled up to one village, we could see all these guys running down to the beach and kind of commotion on the beach. And we're like, cool, they're stoked to see us. And then all of a sudden we just hear machine gun fire.
What?
Yeah. So we get the binos out, and we're they're running to their canoes with machine guns and firing them off.
At you guys.
I mean, over our heads.
Crazy.
Yeah. So we're we're in a sailboat. These guys are in motorized canoes. And they're firing off their machine guns, and they just, about four of these little canoes just come out. And we were trying to sail away, but we're going 5 knots. And they just board us, dude. And they all have their machine guns, and they're all pointing their guns at us. And scared the fucking shit out of us all. Because we were
my God.
They could just take our boat and take, I don't know, anything goes here. There's no law, there's no rule. So anyways, in that instance, one guy I just remember this, the guy had his camo fatigues on, but his shirt was a Rambo shirt. It said Rambo, and it had a picture of Rambo on the front of his shirt. So I don't know that
they took that movie real seriously.
Yeah, I don't think they were military. I don't know what these guys were, but we eventually talked them down and gave them a bunch of money and crap and whatever we had, beers and, and they finally left us alone. So that was like one part of the trip. And another point, and we got some really amazing waves actually. Like we found like perfect little Indo style, rippable, kind of like a small macaronis left, I remember. But head high and really fun. And all the locals there were on the beach and they were laughing and clapping and watching us surf, which was kind of cool, and they're in the distance. We can see them there. So we got done surfing. We got back to the boat and they all paddled out to the boat to say hi, talk to us. Well, they had like leprosy, man. They had like, it's sad. They're like arms falling off. They're like literally bad. I mean, it was leprosy.
Yeah.
Because like they were missing body parts. Their ears were falling off and they just jumped on our boat. And we were just all, oh, shit. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I still don't know if, like, I don't know. They were just on our boat with us and we were just going like, and then finally, they were as nice as could be and chit chat. I mean,
your ears didn't fall off?
No. And then finally they jumped back on and left and we like soaped down the boat and scrubbed it. But it was kind of a bizarre moment. And then one other point on the trip, if we're just going to keep bullshitting and talking story. So me and Healey and Amayan surfed this other wave in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's no lights. We're just in the middle of nowhere.
Damn, that's
I say no lights cool. Because we got left out in the dark and the boat was like 5 miles away around the island and the dinghy broke down and no one came back for us. So we just had to paddle in the dark for like 2 hours in the middle of fucking nowhere. And we just thought like, maybe someone took our boat. Like we didn't know, we got left in like the middle of nowhere. And you can ask Healey or mine and we're paddling in the dark because we ran up on the beach, but it was all coral and jungle and like mosquitoes. Like mosquitoes were mowing us. So we just paddled back out and started paddling around the island at night. And at one point there was like shit splashing next to us and we just, nothing to do except keep paddling.
What?
Yeah. And we paddled. It took us a long time to get back. Like we got back, I felt like it was 9 o'clock at night.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And the captain
But you guys found the boat.
We found it. We could at one point.
Were you guys tripping? Like what if we don't?
Because we'd never even been to the anchorage the boat was going to.
Yeah, they dropped you off
on the way, and they don't know where they're going either. Like they're like, we'll drop you here. We're gonna go see if there's a good anchorage around the island. So I remember the point where we got around the island far enough where we could see the light of the boat.
Anchor light.
Yes. But then there was also this boat. There was one rusty old Indo boat by it, like in the anchorage with ours. So we were like, our boat just got taken over by those Indo guys. But anyways,
dude, we had similar but not similar.
Yeah, we
were on an Indo boat trip. It was just the biggest shocker of a trip. But the boat ran aground, and the captain dude, I actually think the captain's. I think I saw that he died maybe
really
recently. Pretty sure I saw that, which is sad. So yeah, he had some issues. Yeah. He ran the boat aground. Long story short.
Oh,
and then bent one of the props or something. Yep. So we could only use one prop. We got towed off the beach.
Yep.
We were at Cold Springs. We were like freaking radioing boats. There were boats driving by. Finally, I think it was like the Pelagic came.
Okay.
And towed us off the sand.
Yep, I've been on that boat.
And so we get out and he like dumps the hook and freaking swims under there. He's like, okay, there's no holes in the boat, but the prop's fucked. Like we can only run on one motor.
Right.
So we're doing like 4 knots. And it was like a fast boat too. It was a catamaran. It was a bitchin' boat.
You'd have been hauling ass.
So he's like, okay, well, like, I can get to Macaronis, but that anchorage is kind of tight. So I'm going to anchor the boat. There's like a bay around, like, you know, that headland in the background of Macaronis where there's that kind of right. Yeah. There's like a bay on the backside of that he anchored the boat in.
Okay.
But same thing. He dropped us at Macaronis with like a skiff.
Yep.
And then, okay, you guys surf. I'm going to take the boat around there. So we go to, I guess I haven't been there in so long either, but in there where the Macaroni surf camp is in those mangroves, I guess you can shoot those mangroves through to that other bay.
Okay.
So we surf till like whatever, the Indo guys like waving us in, like, hey, we gotta go. Okay, it's gonna start getting dark. jump in, freaking start ripping through the mangroves. The guy can't find the way through the mangroves.
That sounds terrible.
And it was getting dark.
Yeah,
and we're like,
just getting lost.
What the fuck? We're stuck in this mangrove maze. Don't know where to go. Indo dude's tripping. He's freaking out. And we're like, all right, dude. Like, there was like 6 boats at Macca's. Like, let's just freaking go back. Like, we'll just go.
Get on a radio and get help.
So yeah, we freaking finally, we like couldn't find our way out even that way.
That's so sketchy.
So it's literally finally get out of the mangroves, go back out into the bay. There's all these boats. We like pull up to one. Like, dude, this guy can't find our way back to the boat.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, there was a bunch of like rowdy Aussies there.
Oh my God.
Jumped on. And we were pretty young. I think I was like 15. My dad was just like, he had me and like my younger brother. My brother was like 12.
Yeah.
And he was tripping. And we're like, ripping beers. My dad's like, here, have a beer. So we're like drinking beers like the whole way. They tow it. They drive around. Dude, it took us like an hour and it felt like an hour and a half to get to where our boat was.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So funny.
I know the stories, dude, on those trips.
Dude, the same trip
that goes down.
Freaking the guy sent us to Cold Springs. He was like, he's like, hey, I hired this Indo fishing boat to take you guys to surf Cold Springs. We're just like, okay. I think this was after that.
Oh my God.
And so we go, it's like killer sunny bitchin' Indo day, like no wind. We freaking go to Cold Springs, surf. We have so much fun.
Yeah.
We're so stoked because I think we'd been stuck on the boat for a couple days, like not able to go anywhere because of the situation.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this Indo fishing boat, like tiny one though, you know, the ones with the like freaking lawnmower motors on the back, like freaking 6 of us on there, I think, with boards, and we're all like piled on there.
Yeah.
And we start coming back. It goes like white out squall.
Oh my God.
Like literally could barely see you.
Yeah.
And it's raining. So it like hurts.
Oh my God.
And we were just all tripping. We are like, oh my God.
And you were with your dad still?
Yeah.
Oh.
And my brother was, he'll be pissed that I say this. He was crying. He was like, this is he's like 12 years old. I'm going to die.
Oh my God.
Poor thing, dude. He had such a shocker.
That's crazy. Yeah. Some wild.
It was a good trip though.
Yeah.
In the end, we looked back. It was like, we made it.
It's cool to like.
It was a little scary.
Go on those adventures. Yeah. That sailing trip I was talking about too. At one point, our captain like passed out, eyes rolling back in his head in his bunk. Like, and we're all just like, dude, is he gonna die? Yeah. And we don't know what happened to him. Eventually he like came to and like captained the boat again, but we were like taking over the helm, dude. And it was like for a couple hours. And we're like, what's wrong with him? And he's moaning and groaning, just like literally like not just sick. At one point he was like out colder, like or I don't know if he had a seizure or what the fuck was going on, but like we're like we're gonna captain this boat back if our captain doesn't come to.
Did you guys know how to sail?
We would have pulled it. I was with Healey and Amayan.
Okay,
they were young though. Like those guys were youngsters, so it would have been interesting. But I thought to myself on the trip, if I was ever gonna be stuck on an island with 2 guys, Mark Healey and Amayan Goodwin were pretty good guys.
That sounds like a good crew to be with.
But they were like,
you guys would survive.
Yeah, they were like late teens. I was probably like mid-20s, so they were kind of
young.
We were groms.
Holy shit!
Like it was one of Healey's first like real surf trip.
Crazy.
Yeah,
that's sick.
But those guys were. Yeah, Amayan can climb coconut trees, like
spearfish.
Both those guys have been spearfishing since they were like 12. So. That was pretty crazy.
I feel like one thing that was super cool when we were growing up, like about you and your brothers, was like the way that you were able to just keep going in the surf world. Like, I don't know. I'm 31.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was always super inspirational.
Yeah.
So you guys were able to just keep like carving out this and like a super unique path. I think obviously now there's so many.
Yeah.
A lot of people have done a lot of things, but at that time I was like, damn, like Keith and Chris and Dan have like the sickest, like their own program. And like, I don't know, like, can you lean into that at all? Or like any advice kind of on just like how you guys were able to, sort of carve your own way through like the surf scene?
So we kind of, trying to think, we kind of, I don't know, for me, it's hard to see the uniqueness of it all. Like, you know, in ways like, kind of feel like it kind of feels like everybody else. But, we had, one thing I guess you could say was, I feel like early days were kind of like CI, Hurley, and we had like an epic run with those guys. I think we did have a background. I think our strengths as surfers was being able to do a little bit of everything. Like we could grovel, we could, you know, surf big waves and kind of everything in between. And we were, you know, had a pretty good young run of being innovative back in the day, you know, and being in Taylor Steele's movies. And so I feel like that was always kind of like pretty normal. But then, yeah, I mean, I guess we started creating our own content pretty early on, and that was a strength. And then I don't, you know, it's hard for me to explain it, what differentiated how we did it than anything else, but trying to make good decisions all the way along. Like, you know, like we picked brands that we believed in and stuck with them, and we're able to have a win-win situation through that, you know. And then it was kind of cool, you know, when we switched over to Patagonia, it was like, that was like a big kind of risk, because like they weren't a surf company yet, you know, at all. But it was also really kind of an exciting time to help kind of create this whole thing. Meanwhile, being able to do the marketing, working on the wetsuits and the clothing and everything like that. So that kind of gave us a little second run, because we weren't Groms anymore. We weren't like a good fit for like the youth brands. And we found this brand that had a backbone of like an amazing product and something that really works in the elements, and obviously the Enviro story. But like, I felt like that was a situation where we could fully steamroll for another, you know, full decade, where a lot of surfers when they're at 35, they're kind of like done, you know, or like you know, so we got to like put all our creative energy into something like that. Mm-hmm. And like work with a company that wasn't just trying to chase down the early teenager surf dude vibe or whatever. But anyways, but I guess being able to kind of just be like aware of this, I don't know, it's hard to kind of talk about yourself, but so part of it all seems like we didn't do anything unique, but being able to work on films and kind of tell our story through films and things like that, and also just hustling, staying busy, and being like, all right, how am I going to pay the bills next year? Like, what are we going to do, you know? And then, you know, yeah, I think we got a lot of credibility. It's kind of changing, going back and forth, but like as youngsters, just being able to like sleep in the dirt, surf big waves, do an Air 360, cover all, you know, and not be a pussy and just kind of go for it. I don't know. Yeah.
And be like, I don't know, growing up, it just seemed like you guys were always, even before I knew you guys, like just seemed like super solid. Yeah. Like you guys were the guy, like as a man, like someone you looked up to, like, I want to be like those guys. But it wasn't just because, and I don't mean this in a not good way, but it wasn't just about the surfing. Yeah. And I think obviously there's like the people that you're like, oh my God, that guy, like Tom Curren, but it was like the three of you guys just had more than just surfing. And I think that was what I always really looked up to, I think. Yeah. And maybe that's kind of where my question was like rooted from, was just that it was like, I looked up to the Malloys because you guys had so much more going on for you than just that you could do an Air 360 and you could rip and win some contests. You know? I think that was always super inspirational. And the way you guys, like, it seemed like it was like super real too. You weren't trying to do shit to like, oh yeah, like if I go spearfishing, it's going to like help me with this. You know, you're just like doing the shit that you love to do. Yeah. And it seemed to just sort of lead you guys on a cool pathway.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I feel like my dad was like that. You know, he was always, I've said this before, but looking for the unbeaten path. So we just like had that in us too. And, you know, it was just kind of like, and then just having like solid parents, even though like I look back on it, my parents like were far from perfect, but like they taught us right and kind of our old school and like, I don't know, gave us good manners in ways. And then,
good work ethic. Seem like you guys all have like a really good.
I think so. Yeah. And
seems like something you might have grabbed from like that your dad would kind of
no
drove
doubt.
home. Yeah.
My dad was like a scary guy if he was pissed off, you know, and like you don't want to piss him off. He said, do something, you better do it now. And, you know, like I said, when we made the Channel Island Surf Team, I'm pretty sure it was just because we were polite and we were attentive and yes, sir, and thank you. And, you know, all that stuff. Like that's kind of how we made our way a little bit. From the early days, and then there's just a lot of luck involved, you know, and think of how many crazy trips we went on, like we're talking about, and how many times things could have gone wrong or bad, and you know, somehow we all three of us just navigate through that shit. And of course we did get injuries, and we had, you know, it hasn't been a cakewalk the whole time like at all, but we were able to kind of just keep on track and keep the gears in motion. And also we could bounce shit off each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't do that. It's fucking lame. And be like, oh yeah, you're right. You know, like we will keep each other in check on certain things, you know, and kind of give each other shit. Like, really? You're going to do that? And you're like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't do that. You know, so it's kind of nice. And I'm sure you guys probably do that a little bit with each other too.
Oh yeah, totally.
You're like,
it's so nice to have a brother who's like going through similar, or if not the same sorts of things, and you're like,
you're kind of ultra aware because your brothers can call you out or you can call them out or whatever. So like that's a little navigation right there in itself, you know. But also just being lucky bastards that got to surf as kids, like, you know, a lot of kids don't get to do that. And also like, I mean, like me and Chris kind of just dropped out of, like, didn't go to college. Chris started and he moved to Hawaii saying he was going to college, and then never hardly went. And then, you know, I wouldn't really suggest that for a lot of kids. And, you know, and then also what's crazy is like when we were in the surf, in the middle of it all back, you know, like in the day, just, I mean, the surf industry was booming. Like we got lucky with our timing, even I think even a little more than you, because like, the money was just fucking flying around like crazy back then. You know what I mean? Like that generation had a really good like 10 or 15 years where like you actually put a little money away and stuff. And I mean, you've had it too. I mean, I know, I mean, you're on that level you've been on for so long. I'm sure it's good for you, but like that's a little bit over for a lot of guys that are like one level down. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. Yeah. I think I caught like the tail end of the good, like kind of right as I was like about to get on the tour, and like the early, like when Kai was making his film still, it was like still had that, you know, Nike was kind of like came in, so everyone was like, oh, Nike and surf and this and that. And then dude, now I just like towards once I got on tour, almost it was kind of all starting to go downhill. Like
it's kind of bizarre because like I feel like I don't know. I mean, I was watching this footage of Tom Curren at the OP Pro, and there was like a zillion people there. There was like
riots. And
oh my God. It was just like, you know, so obviously surfing goes through these stages, but like, it seems like right now, maybe people would rather watch a Lakers game or something than, I don't know, but it's definitely not the industry, you know, and the money flow is like changed heavily in the last little while. And then at times though, I'm like, God, how is it though? Because I see a lot of kids and a lot of people that love surfing. So I don't know what the dynamics are that make that, you know, situation change so much. I'm not sure what it is, you know.
I know it seems like there's a weird sort of disconnect because it feels like there's a ton of kids and families and older, even like people all the way up to like my dad is so fired up on surfing right now, and like his friends, everybody internationally, Seems like it's growing. Got a good buzz. Yeah. But the industry's just the worst since I've been involved, like the worst it's ever been. Me too. So.
It's the worst it's ever been. And if it was killing it right now, I would think it was killing it. Like, you know what I mean? Like the fact that it's doing bad actually surprises me.
Totally.
I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. And I know it's sad to see like how little opportunity there is like for kids coming up now it's like, oh, so if you want to make a living surfing, it's so cool, but it's like, it's also hard because you do have to sacrifice like school. You have to kind of be like, okay, I'm going to commit to this.
Right.
And if these kids can't like make a living and put some money away to like, at least kind of fall back on or have themselves like to go to the next thing.
Meanwhile, it's so competitive with the youngsters now from what I hear. I haven't been around it much, but
it's like kids are homeschooling earlier and freaking dropping out.
It's
like great 5 coaches and it's gnarly.
And they're shredding
ripping.
Air 360s.
They're way better than we were when we were 12.
It's crazy.
So crazy. So it's kind of a trip. I don't know. It's like I hate to end on a down note, but it is. I just hope for the next generation of kids that there's a reinvigoration and like a clear pathway to be like, oh, I want to be a pro surfer. Like, okay, I can do it.
Yeah.
So
then again, we all do it just because we love it.
Exactly.
We'd be doing it no matter what.
Yeah.
And it's like you see the ebb and flows, and as someone the other day was like, you know, that the whole WSL thing, and everyone at times hates the WSL because they changed the rules and do this way. I'm like, surfing's almost like not supposed to be judged. I mean, I did it. I enjoyed it, like challenging myself and doing competition, but like you're never going to find a format that's going to make everyone happy. You know what I mean? In competitive surfing. So a little bit to me is like, whatever happens. Like, and surfing is never, you know, someone's going to complain about the format. Someone's going to be underscored and someone's going to be overscored. And so let that whole thing do its thing, and you and I both know we'd be surfing no matter what, you know, because we're so lucky to be able to do this. I consider it like a magical thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It is.
Yeah,
dude. There's still just my mom said it ever since I was a kid. Like when I feel this way a little bit lately because I haven't been surfing as much.
Yeah,
like literally enough. I'd be in a weird mood, and she'd be like, oh, when was the last time you went surfing? And, like 4 days ago. She's like, okay, get in the car. I'm taking you to the beach.
Yes.
And she was so good of her. She knew. It was like if my gills went dry, there was something she needed to just throw me in the water. And then I'd be like,
Yeah.
So,
I don't think there's something better for your mental health than surfing. And it's like, there's all the Wim Hof stuff, which I like, and all these, you know, workout things. And I'm like, we got to do that as kids surfing every day. We would freeze our ass off till we were purple, and we would be working out all day. And that's like, I think that's a formula for physically and mentally feeling well. You know, like we had the cheat code as little kids, being, especially when wetsuits were shitty. It was like an ice plunge every time.
Sure, I didn't even wear one. I think I remember my first suit was this like gull with zippers on it.
Oh my god, the gull!
And I would like never wash it out or hang it up, so I just like leave it. I'll just trunk it.
Yeah.
I remember doing Davey Smith's like winter surf camp at Refugio and just board shorts the whole time.
Legendary. I'm good.
So good. Crazy. I'm such a baby now.
Yeah. I have a photo of me wearing Chris's Victory, long sleeve, short leg, but like, you know, it's like the cuffs were like this big on my arm, like
no stretch,
and water just like flushing it. But I was like the happiest kid in the world.
Didn't even matter.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of sometimes when we wrap these up, like that's one thing I like to ask everyone is just any advice that they would have kind of for kids, or it doesn't have to be specific to surfing or anything, just kind of a little nugget of life advice that.
Yeah. I mean, I would say this, like, I feel like if you really love something, whatever it might be, it's probably going to, you know, some people think things can happen very quickly and overnight, but a lot of times it takes like 5 to 10 years, I think, of just putting your head down and really going for it. And through that and putting the time in, what is it, like 11,000 hours or something? I don't know what that is, but there's something to that, because I think that's, if you really want to succeed at something, you really got to put your time in and energy. And you know, some things our job and some things are for fun. So like if like surfing's a good example of something that can just be for fun on the side. But in general, yeah, I think you know, if you do want to be a surfer, the only way you get better is time in the water, you know. And I know that like there's lots of good training and activities you can do, but nothing trains you better for surfing than surfing, whether it's for fun or if you want to, you know, compete and take it further. Either way.
Nice. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Well,
cool,
thanks,
Connor.
Keith. Appreciate it.
Super
dude.
good chat.
That was fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah, anytime, man. Let's
got to get some hangs going.
Yeah, I know.